All West Ham United need to do tonight is to avoid defeat. If we do that, we will become a very good and established European side who has topped the group in 3 consecutive European campaigns, twice in the Europa League and, of course, in our triumphant Europa Conference League campaign last season. If we don't pick up at least a point tonight and we lose to Freiburg, we go into a hat and a playoff round, a round of 32, where we will face one of AC Milan, Shakhtar Donetsk, Galatasaray, Lens, Braga, Benfica, Feyenoord, or Young Boys for the right to head through to the last 16. So still quite a lot riding on this match for West Ham today. We want to skip a 2-legged playoff tie and fire ourselves straight through to the round of 16. It's at the London Stadium. It's a European night under the lights and an opportunity to seal the group emphatically. Mike is joining me to discuss the game in our build-up show. Mike, how are you?
Fine, mate. Look, I thought I'd better be a bit festive tonight, as Nigel did the job last night for us.
If you were, of course, watching the match preview last night, Nigel had a Christmas jumper on. I don't own a Christmas jumper, but Mike has rectified his error. He didn't quite get the memo last night, but Mike is here with his Christmas jumper. So as soon as I saw him pop up about 5 minutes ago at the bottom of my screen, I'm like, he's got a Christmas jumper on. And do you think those festivities, Mike, will carry on to the pitch tonight? Are you confident?
Not highly confident, but no, not that confident, Jay. I mean, I think it's a bit of a dead rubber game because we're not going to get chucked out of the competition tonight. It'd be great if we don't have to play another game in January or whenever, February, whenever it is, and we miss out on the teams coming down from the Champions League. But I know there's a lot of our fans looking at some tasty games if we do finish second and thinking a nice little trip to Benfica or
there's some glamour ties in there. That's for sure.
Yeah. So I honestly, it's not really the way to look at it. I think we desperately need to win it or get the draw and go through top of the group again. But you know, if there's a poor crowd tonight, I won't be shocked. We've got so many games.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, it won't be a shock if there's only sort of 48,000 there tonight.
I think so. Yeah, I think so. And of course, you know, there's the incentive of finishing top of the group and bypassing that round. But there's also got to be the incentive of picking up the squad after a devastating defeat at the weekend against Fulham, because the morale must have been, you know, relatively low after that defeat, because to some it may have been unexpected and it may have been a shock. And we've got to pick that confidence back up again, because there's no time to feel sorry for yourselves, especially in December.
Yeah, it's a performance we need more than anything tonight. I think a result, definitely, but just need a performance, you know, to take, you know, to move along a little bit. I can't remember the last time we really put in a 90-minute performance.
Solid all-round performance.
Honestly, I think second half against Newcastle was probably the last good performance I can remember myself watching live. You know, I mean, there's been some poor ones.
Of course, it's caught me off guard because we're in Europe, but the starting lineup has been released 10 minutes early because they like to play with me. Mike, do you want to see it?
Yeah, pop it up, mate.
Well, I'm gonna show it to you anyway. So here it is. Fabianski is captain and is in goal, of course. Soufal Mavropanos comes back into the side, and Naif Gerd alongside Emerson in the back 4. Alvarez returns in midfield. Ward-Prowse and Souček alongside him. Kudus on one side, brilliant. Paqueta on the other. I love that. Paqueta on the left, that's fun, isn't it? And Jarrod Bowen up front. So no Zuma in the starting line. Let's have a look. Is he on the bench? He is on the bench, so that's just maybe a resting precaution. Kurt Zuma not being in that starting lineup tonight. Overall, of course, Fabianski's played the Premier League games due to a issue with Areola. Areola returns to the bench tonight, so maybe you know, he's just given Fabianski the cup game, awaiting Areola's Premier League return on Sunday against Wolves. But overall, the one noticeable squad rotation change in Konstantinos Mavropanos coming into the side, Alvarez returning, Paqueta on the left, meh. But apart from that, what do you make of that?
Strong team, stronger than I thought it would be. I think David Moyes understands this is a must-win game. Then, you know, he doesn't want that extra game. We don't need it. The big one for me is Alvarez coming back in. We missed him so much on Sunday. You know, I was just watching that Perez. He had the freedom of the park on Sunday, and he just went wherever he went. wanted to go and he had so much room and space. That wouldn't have happened if Alvarez had been there. I'm sure he'd have stuck him up in the air. He might have got another yellow card, but he wouldn't have had that time and space. Interesting. Who else is on the bench, Jake?
Let's have a calendar, shall we? It's Areola, Ogbonna, Zuma, Kera, Fornals, Ings, Creswell, Benrahma, Cornet, Mubama, Coventry, and Johnson. So there you've got Fornals, Benrahma, Cornet, Mubama as attacking outlets. Is there anyone missing from that?
Can't see. Mubama's there, obviously. Oh, Cornet's the one. Yeah, I really, I'm wondering about him, whether he's going to go in January, like the same as Fornals and Ings. But to be honest, that's a strong bench as well. I think, he's looking at probably, he's still got a bit up his sleeve. I need to bring on Mubama or Cornet and attacking options, and defensively, obviously, if it's 0-0 with a few minutes to go, we'd bring on Zuma or Kira or Ogbonna or whatever to to play 5 at the back. But that's a strong squad, and it's a strong team, a strong start.
But the sort of issue that I've got is when you look at that on a as a whole, you've got, I'll put the subs bench up with the starting line so you can see it all there. You can't quite really have to squint, but with the volume of games that we've got, wouldn't it have hurt tonight to put Corn in, maybe even over Paqueta, just to give these players a bit of rest, because Kudus, Paqueta, Bowen, they're going to play every game this month. And it's a lot of games, and they're going to be completely driven into the ground. And I know Kudus is a very good player and all the rest of it, but it wouldn't have hurt to start Cornet tonight and maybe bring him on, push comes to shove at half time, just to give some of these players a bit of a break, because the key players who are expected to play every single game aren't going to be getting to the levels that they have been, because they're not robots, Mike.
No, and again, we've got an early game on a Sunday again, which doesn't give them that much time to recover, and that is a problem. And you're right, Jake. I would have rested a couple, at least. I mean, Ward-Prowse has to play nearly every single game, to be fair to the lad.
But to be fair, we haven't really got a midfield option to bring on there, have we? Unless we move Paqueta back in.
Our problem is we definitely needed another defensive midfielder to give Alvarez a rest, and also the amount of bookings he's going to get a couple of suspensions. The next one.
Do you think letting Downs go to Southampton was a bit naive?
Yeah, very naive for that position, because we haven't got anyone else that's nailed on to sit in there and do the job, as got proved on Sunday. That was naive. That was naive. I mean, they could afford to let a couple of others go in front of him. I know Fornals has done well for us and whatever, but and I like the guy. I love him to death. He's been brilliant for us, but he's just not improving at all.
Yeah.
In fact, he's going downhill, and we can see it.
Yeah, 100%. Right, we'll take that off of the screen. We'll bring it back up on a little bit later. Right, let's take some of your comments. Good evening to everybody. Wally, thank you very much indeed for joining us. Hope you're well. Lawrence as well. See, Lawrence admires your jumper.
But there's Lawrence.
Yeah, very good.
I made the effort.
Yeah, I didn't, because I ain't got one. I might have one in the bottom of the drawer, but I just didn't look.
Yeah, go on.
Well, we'll reach a compromise when we do our Christmas show at Christmas. Right. Yeah. Maybe, Mike. If you wear that, I might have a look in my cupboard and see what I've got. Deal?
Yeah, deal.
Usual suspect, thank you very much indeed for joining us as well. There was the line at Mandy. There we go. Strong side, says Wally. Very good, says Lawrence. Jake, you go home and away all most games. Is James Ward-Prowse, Alvarez and Souček in that midfield working? Now, Mike, I'll get your view on this, because you were there at Fulham on Sunday as well. The thing that I pick up on when you're watching it live is the amount of work Ward-Prowse puts in, and how probably deep Alvarez sits. You don't probably realise it, but I can remember earlier on in the season, even at Brighton away, where Alvarez was practically a third centre half at times. And yes, Brighton were a good side, and we did play very well that day. But I think it depends on who we're playing to whether that midfield functions to the best of its ability, to be honest with you, because it depends whether Alvarez has got to really sit in front, and then that sort of dictates the ability of Ward-Prowse, I think, in midfield, who does a lot of the sort of Rice dirty work. To be fair, James Ward-Prowse and Alvarez probably do what Rice did. Is that fair, Mike?
Yeah, you're probably right there. Those three, I think, is a decent balance.
Yeah.
They are a decent balance when they're all playing together. But they've got to, like I was saying a minute ago, they've got to play every game. You know, we haven't got anyone else to shake up that three. Really, you can put Paqueta back in there. You know, is at the top of the pivot. I mean, but you look around. What else can you do? What else can you do to change it? You know, with what we've got at the moment. You know, I'd love to see another young player come through and in the role of, you know, a central midfielder, whether it be an attacking or a defensive. We need another one to come through. That's what we need.
Absolutely, yeah, for sure. And I think, you know, I think it impacts out. Obviously, it's obvious not having Alvarez there at the weekend. It impacted all of the midfield because Souček had to sit, which isn't his role, and he's just not suited to that role. And when he plays a little bit further up, I think he looks more at home, and that's his game. And you know, when you put any player out of position, they look a little bit, you know, a little bit worse. Where Paqueta, particularly, I think at the moment, is a pressing issue, and it happens everywhere. And look, I think it just reinforced on Sunday how key Alvarez is to that side, because we looked weak in midfield, as we probably all predicted when we saw that lineup without Alvarez. It was a concern, that is for sure. Mandy says, I just see three midfield players who do little with the ball. Alvarez is very key. Ward-Prowse sweep things up, and Souček I think passing's improved this year as well. I mean, he has good games and bad games, Souček, but when he pops up with goals, Mike, you can't complain, can you?
No, he has to play in that attacking role. That's
yeah.
He can play. I mean, against Tottenham, we pushed Price forward a little bit more, and Alvarez was obviously there, so we had the cover, you know, defensively. And what happens? You know, he sets up a goal, he scores a goal. You know, and that's where he needs to be as well, really. So it's difficult. Without Alvarez, the balance just doesn't work at all.
Yeah, I don't think this team is balanced at the best of times. When you take Alvarez out of it, I think it just adds fuel to the fire, to be honest with you. And I think it's not good. Last time out against these opponents, we narrowly picked up the 3 points over in Germany. Lucas Paqueta opened the scoring in the 7th minute before an equaliser through Roland Salai just after half time, and Naif Gerd got the winner on the 66th minute. Mike, can you remember too much about the opposition from that game?
It was a funny game, wasn't it? We had strong spells in the game where we looked on top, and then, you know, we just had one of those funny 5 minutes again, and they scored, and then we come back into it again. It was a weird game, but these are no mugs. These are a decent team. I think, you know, they're doing okay in their league, and that is quite a strong league, actually. To be fair, there is 6 or 7 really good sides in that league. So,
absolutely,
yeah, we'll have to be on it.
I think an indication with tonight's sort of scenario is all we need is a clean sheet tonight. A clean sheet gets us through. The last time, Mike, we registered a clean sheet in any competition was at the end of September against Sheffield United, lingering down at the bottom of the table. The defence has been an ever-present issue this year that has been revisited due to errors all through the season. I mean, that stat, we are a good couple of months past, you know, the 30th of September now. It's a good 2.5 months since a clean sheet, which is a concern and something that Moyes, as a handbrake on and defensive manager, will be worried about, and he'll want to put that record to the side tonight and put in a solid, you know, defensively solid and astute clean sheet performance.
Yeah, he will. I know he is defensively minded. You know, he was a defender himself, and we all know how his team set up and play. But some of them, Jake, have been atrocious errors from defenders. I mean, you look at the mess, you know, in some of the games. Mavropanos passing it backwards, you know, to give Palace didn't look like scoring until we made that stupid mistake. 2 or 3 other games where it's just stupid defensive mistakes, and that's not down to David Moyes, really. To be fair to him, you know, as much as we've criticised him, you can't blame him for individual errors like that.
No, you can't. And Freiburg have got to come out tonight as well. You know, when we've been put in a scenario. To be fair, we haven't been put in a scenario like this in Europe yet. You know, we haven't been going into a group stage game needing to pick something up for an ideal scenario. We've flown through both group stages without breaking a sweat really. So this is a new experience tonight. Of course, we've gone through the knockouts that have had the pressure on, but just that bit of pressure in the group stages tonight where they're going to have to come out because they don't want to, Freiburg don't want to have to go and play AC Milan or whoever and in a knockout game. So both sides have the same incentive tonight. We've got the advantage. We're at home. All we need is a point. Whereas if it's a draw for them, it's no good. They need to win. So they're going to have to come out. That's surely got to play into our hands tonight.
It should do. It should do. Yeah. The other thing I was asking about the subs was the one I was thinking of was they were talking about Antonio maybe being fit for the bench tonight, and obviously he's not on there. I mean, with him there, if they've got to come out and play, I think we're better on the break. And he's difficult to mark. He's proved to be difficult to mark by a lot of these European defenders. So, yeah, I think we could have done with him up our sleeve tonight. That would have been ideal. Like I said, Jake, they got to come out as long as we keep it tight and we don't concede. They got to come out. So there should be spaces, for the likes of Kudus and Paqueta to get in there.
Everyone's putting their predictions into the chat. We'll come on to those a little bit later on. Yeah, I'm a little bit undecided on this tonight, a little bit apprehensive about the potential outcome. I'm just not sure. Well, you never know. It's just a lucky dip, really, what sort of West Ham team's going to turn up and what the tempo is going to be like. I mean, the stadium's not going to be full tonight, but the people that are in there, you've got to get behind the side tonight. It is still quite a big game with something on it where it would be hugely beneficial and profitable for our season and our schedule, and probably some West Ham fans' bank balances for us to bypass this round of 32 stage. Because if we get AC Milan and everyone's got to go out to Italy, that's going to cost people a fair few quid, and that's before if we do even get through to around of 16, then a quarter final, then a semi final, then we're going to double in when we win it, Mike. I mean, no one's going to have any money left.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they're attractive ties, and a lot of our fans would love to go to one of those games, but realistically, they're tough, aren't they? AC Milan, or watch some of that last night, and
they turn up when it matters, don't they? They turn up when it matters. They just turned the screw. I watched it as well, and Newcastle looked relatively comfortable, and just like that, it switched. It's a very good team, and these are teams that we probably, and these teams we haven't played in Europe yet. We haven't played a big boy like that. I mean, fair play to Newcastle because they were in one hell of a group of death. To be with half an hour, 35 minutes to go off the whole group stage, to be through in the Champions League to the last 16, then inside 15 minutes to be out of it completely. It's the harsh reality of it. But this what these established, very, very good top European teams do. They swipe it away from you. They swipe it from your hands, and they're winning. They win ugly, they win pretty, and I just think that at the moment in our current state, I mean, it could all be changed by February, to be fair, but I just fear for us, and that could be the end of our European campaign. The last 16 could be, but I mean, one way you could look at it, Mike, is that if we get through, it's another European away day. If we get through and we go all the way, then we just have one more fantastic couple of days to add to it.
I mean, a lot of people have been moaning and going, but hang on a minute. David Moyes has given us 3 years of opportunities to go and play against these teams and have great games at home at night for these evening games, and to travel to countries and watch our team play that we haven't done for so long. So I mean, for all his failures, you've got to look at that and say, well, he has given us that. He's given us something that, I haven't seen in a long, long time.
For sure. Yeah, look, I mean, it depends on your outlook of it with the sort of whether you want to go through this round of 32, because being in Europe is all about these amazing experiences, and I can imagine it's on a lot of bucket lists of West Ham fans to see West Ham play in the San Siro, to go and watch a West Ham game in the San Siro or one of these, or go to Galatasaray or play against Benfica or whoever else. But it's whether you want to get through and have a more chance of winning or have a really good time and tick off a bucket list thing against a huge European titan. I suppose it's up to you, Mike. What would you prefer?
I just love to go and win it, but realistically, there's some good sides left in this. some really good sides. So
Yeah.
I can understand the view of some of West Ham fans that I know that are saying, I don't, we're not that worried if we lose. It'd be a great opportunity to go and play against a great team. We might not have the chance again. If we go out, to be fair, if we go out, I think this gives us more chance. We're sat ninth in the league, Jake. We've still got a chance then. If we go out, we've got less games to play. They were talking at the start of the season, like playing in the Europa League, being a team like West Ham, who realistically were hoping for 6th or 7th at the best, probably cost us over 10 points a season playing in these European games. We as proved on Sunday, tired legs, tired minds, more than anything else as well. And then that travelling, that's what people forget, all that travelling, even away from home in this country, if you're going up north or whatever, for an early game on a Sunday, it's not easy, it's not easy. I can go back and I say, I played God knows how many games and God knows how many games, but it's a total different game now. The speed of it, the pace of the game, it's a different game.
It is. It certainly is. And look, whether you want the adventure or the winning for West Ham, I'm sure we'd all prefer West Ham to win tonight. And look, I think we've given ourselves a good chance of doing it. And just the performance tonight, Mike, is the main thing, isn't it? I mean, if we can get anything out of the game and the performance, I think that'd be a perfect evening. Not too much stress. Hopefully, I say this on most European home nights, so we could have not too much stress, a nice cool evening of entertainment, and then go into Wolves on Sunday, then up to Liverpool on a week yesterday. So look, we can just hope for a performance and hope this team turns out. There's got to be a reaction tonight, Mike, surely.
Ideally, yes, there's got to be a reaction. It can't be as bad as it was on Sunday. Hopefully, if David Moyes is writing this script, it's let's get 2-3-0 up.
Yeah.
Let's get 4 or 5 of them off. Let's get some subs on. Let's give them a rest for Sunday.
Yeah.
That if he's writing the script, he's thinking, let's get 2 or 3 up by half time and 60, 70 minutes. Oh, sorry. No, 90, 91, 89. Sorry.
Yeah.
Bring on these subs. Because joking aside, if some of them get a 20-minute rest, because a lot of injuries happen in those last 15, 20 minutes. That's time to be able to get them off and give them a rest.
And Moyes has got to be proactive, and the fact is that if we are leading, then take them off. If this scenario that you've just conveyed happens, and we're 2 or 3-0 up on the hour mark, pull them all off. Kudus, Bowen, Paquette, get them all off, because we aren't going to lose the game on 60 minutes 3-0 up, are we? If we're in that perfect situation, even if we draw the game from that moment on, I don't care. I don't care.
Even if we do one of our famous 3-alls again, but
exactly. I don't mind as long as we're through with either a win or a point tonight, but just no injuries and get those players off, because again, they're all the same lot are going to have to play again on Sunday. Here's a question, Mike: Would you rest some on Sunday and prioritise next Wednesday? Looking ahead.
Do you know what? I've looked at Liverpool's team tonight. It's a reserve team.
Yeah,
they're playing Man United. I know they've won. There's no pressure on them at all. That's the position we really needed to be in. So, going back to the question. Yeah.
Probably. I would. Yeah.
Because you're talking a semi-final then?
For sure. And Liverpool put out a youth team 11, and for consequence they were 3-1 down, but the goal's been ruled out. They are still 2-1 down to Union SG over there in Belgium, but it doesn't matter, they're through. And the main important and imperative point for Liverpool is that they've rested all of those key players ahead of maybe what might be a test against them on Sunday. It might be a training session, to be honest with you, but they've obviously rested those players ahead of the mighty West Ham, because at the moment West Ham are looking more dangerous than Manchester United, and we've just lost 5-0 to Fulham. So Man United, we're going to laugh at you again. Right, let's take some more of your comments. Wally says it's on Paramount Plus here in the US, but also on one of the Spanish channels, maybe because of Alvarez. There we go. Okay, Liverpool the bigger game for me, 100%. I'd rather we lost to Wolves and beat Liverpool than drew to Wolves or beat Wolves and lost to Liverpool, to be honest with you, because I just think it's the more important game in the grand scheme of things, and for the morale probably of the fan base. I prefer us to win a cup quarter final. I know it's the League Cup, but it's still a cup quarter final, than win a home Premier League game. I would sacrifice that for the win midweek, because it's going to be an incredibly difficult game. I think they've got Arsenal the following weekend after Liverpool, so that might be in the back of Klopp's mind as well, because they got Arsenal on Boxing Day or something, or the day after Boxing Day. So it's a congested period, and quite frankly, anything can happen in a cup game. So if Moyes don't put us a full starting, full strength side out at Liverpool, I'll be absolutely livid, Mike. I don't think he'll rest players for that game, because he's got a view that, as the Europa League is, these cup competitions kept him in a job last year, and he's got an opportunity to do that again this year, I think.
Yeah, when you're only two games away from a final, you've got to go for it, haven't you? You've definitely got to go for it. There's no point going up there with half and half a team. It's either all or nothing, basically, in my mind.
For sure. And let's hope that Moyes executes that, and we can get and we can sacrifice Sunday's game for a nice win midweek against Liverpool. But of course, we've got this game before that. I'm getting ahead of myself, and we've still got Freiburg ahead of us tonight. And as I've reiterated, I still think this is a game of quite high importance, and Moyes will recognise that, and he has recognised that by not making too many changes. Just Mavropanos coming in. A word on Mavropanos, Mike. He's been a little bit, what's the word? Temperamental, maybe the word.
He's been a bit like Olgerd, Kira. I mean, they take a while to settle, and I think, fingers crossed. I don't want to put upset everything tonight, but Olgerd had been steady.
And then he made the mistake on Sunday.
Yeah, and then he made a mistake on Sunday. Mavropanos had been steady, and he made that stupid mistake at that back pass.
Yeah.
It's just the mistakes. I mean, Kira, to me, he did all right at the end of last year, and I'm shocked that he hasn't had more game time this year. But when he started, he looked good, but again, there was a mistake that gave away a goal, and it was always giving away a goal every time. Yeah. He wasn't lucky enough to get away with that mistake. But
just on a Gerd, I think it's just so infuriating, because he's got so much quality there, and when he sprays them 60-yard balls cross field, straight onto Bowen's foot or Kudus' foot or whatever, and then he makes the absolute hospital pass for the first Fulham goal. It's just awful. What are you thinking? It's like once a game, he's got a bingo card, and he's got to make a stupid mistake that leads to a goal after every game. And he's got the quality there, but he's quickly turning into a mistake a game player, which, with the amount of games we're playing and the sort of level and probably level that we're playing at the moment, we just cannot afford that.
No, that ball, I was right behind that on Sunday. Yeah. That ball he played, I thought, why is he playing that ball in there? It's a dangerous ball. He's better off hitting those crossfield balls. And he's hit some absolute pings, some absolute beauties. But that ball he played, and I thought, oh no, that is, as soon as it left his boot, I knew that it was going to be a problem. Just don't understand it. That is a mindset. That is up here. That is, and we're going to give time. We've got to give these guys time to settle. But he's had enough time now.
Yeah, for sure. Just looking at the Liverpool lineup tonight, they only took off of their sort of, none of their starters started tonight. Maybe Konate, the centre half, started, but apart from that, the only players they even took out to Belgium was Nunez, Szoboszlai, and Gravenberch and Diaz. That's it. They left Van Dijk and Alisson and all the rest of it. They just left them. Klopp left them in Liverpool, and and to look team selection, and you can read into it a lot, especially at this time of year with the amount of competitions that these elite clubs like West Ham are playing in, that we've got to contend with. And Mandy makes the point here. She says playing a full strength team tonight tells me Moyes has written off a win at Liverpool. See, I'd look at it differently. I think he'll start the same lineup tonight, Sunday, and next Wednesday, because I just don't think he changes very often. That wouldn't surprise me at all. So if he doesn't make any more changes on Sunday, I'll be a little bit concerned, but I think he'll just start the same lineup. If he makes a few changes Sunday, then we can imply fair enough, he's really going to go for the cup game. And I'd prefer to see that. I'd prefer Cornet, Benrahma, a couple of others to come in Sunday for a clear statement of intent of we're taking that cup game seriously Wednesday, Mike.
Yeah, I would. Even tonight, a bit of a mix-up.
Yeah.
2 or 3 of them to come in.
Wouldn't
just
have hurt, would it?
Little bit. Like Sunday, it was just Creswell and Fornells down that flank. We were just asking for trouble against a team flying high and got so much pace. It was just the wrong thing to do. But tonight, I would have mixed it up with, say, a Kira and a Benrahma, Muamba even, those sort of players. And then, if we're losing, then bring someone on,
Yeah.
But I think he's thinking of it the other way around. He's thinking maybe we can get 1-0 up, whatever, and then I can start taking them off.
But then the issue is that we say that and we hope it'll do that, but it'll take him off on the 85th minute. Like, that doesn't do anything.
That's what I said in it earlier. No, the crux of it all, Jake, is he doesn't trust anyone else. Full stop.
No, he doesn't. Dinos' mistake was due to boredom. The game was too easy. At the time, we were comfortable. We were relatively comfortable in the game, and we just cannot afford these sort of brain glitches in our centre halves. I mean, just get a grip of it, for goodness sake. If I was legally able to, Mandy, I fancy a Ward-Prowse free kick tonight, actually. A Ward-Prowse free kick, a West Ham win, and an Alvarez yellow card. You're odds on for that, aren't you? And Paqueta to dive to the floor at some point. I know that wouldn't be able, to do a bet on that, but
Paqueta will bet on that one.
Paqueta will dive to the floor.
Okay, honestly, I've watched nearly every game, and I've been to a few live, obviously. And we haven't had a free kick in the ideal position for James Ward-Prowse to take it off. 2 all season. Sunday, he was a long way out. Sunday,
it was. I tell you what, that was a rocket though.
He hit it. Obviously, it was down the other end.
Yeah.
And he hit that well. It was a great strike, but it wasn't a typical James Ward-Prowse free kick. His is a over the wall, bend it in the top corner. And we've not had one in the right place for a right footer. It's always been a left footer.
Yeah,
and he's still taking them, even though it's been a left footer. When I was thinking, no, let someone have a go with the left foot.
You can guarantee on the commentators bingo tonight they will mention play this game, because I like to play it. Commentators bingo, they'll mention the Fulham 5-0 game. They'll mention we've got Liverpool next week in the cup. They'll mention how many players that Liverpool have rested tonight. They will mention the record that James Ward-Prowse is 1 goal off of David Beckham's record for English free kick goals. That's 4 things that the commentary will mention straight off the bat. What else? I'll think about it. Mike, any additions to the commentary bingo?
It amazes me. They always put these stats up like we've lost so many points from winning positions.
We're winning, yeah.
Yeah. They don't put the stat up how many games we've won from losing positions.
Exactly, yeah.
They don't do it the other way around as well. They just do it one way and think, hang on a minute, what about all the games we've won that, in the last minute, and which we've done 3 this year or whatever. I mean, it does my head in all these stats. Do you know the best thing that ever happens, Jake, is when the commentators start running this down and say we've got no chance.
Yeah.
That's the games we win. That is the games we win. It's a shame.
And nailed on 5th edition for the commentary bingo is they'll mention the sickness bug that we've had around the camp this week.
Yeah.
Of course. So if all 5 of those don't come in, I will be incredibly disappointed in myself. We've got an Arsenal fan who's got nothing else to do with their Thursday evening. I hope you're well, mate. Apologies. Liverpool 2-1 at 3rd goal disallowed, so they are losing. Doesn't matter to them, they're through. But they are losing tonight over in Belgium, and that score remains. Let's have a look. some more. Soufal is playing every game. It wouldn't have hurt to start Kehrer tonight, would it? Even not only to rest Soufal, but to give Kehrer a game because he's going to leave, and I feel sorry for him because he ended last season relatively well in the few games he played, and he hasn't had a sniff. I think I read a stat he's played like 186 minutes of football this season, or something. Just what's the harm in giving him a game tonight?
Soufal, his tank looked empty on Sunday.
Yeah.
It did, honestly. The poor bloke. You have games like that when nothing goes your way. I've been out there myself, and you start slapping yourself. Come on, wake yourself up, Mike. Come on. But you can't. It's gone too far. And in that game, it was mistake after mistake. It wasn't bad mistakes. It's just a miscontrol or a bounce off his knee or the ball flicked past him. And I felt for him. He really needed to come off.
Yeah.
He was done. There was nothing left in the tank.
For sure. And you've got Soufal there that is going to play every game again this month, and he rested Emerson for 45 minutes. Well, illness or whatever was going on there. I'm not entirely convinced of the situation, but it wouldn't have hurt in one of these games to just rest Soufal and say, you know what, you've put in a shift so far this season, you've played for your country, you've played pretty much every game for West Ham, just sit this one out and get ready for the next one. But it just doesn't seem like Moyes has got it in him to do that for a whole game. And I mean, I think the reason that he was forced to not play Emerson for the full entirety of the game on Sunday was probably because of this sickness bug that was going around, and there was some weird sort of things that he had to do. I mean, that was all a bit strange. He started Fornals, who apparently then came out was the worst with it, and then to
half time apparently, but
had to throw up after. Oh, honestly, whatever. What he says is Beckham's record in all comps or just the Premier League. I don't know. The commentary will tell us though, so I will find that, Wally. Yeah, I don't know whether it's all comps or Premier League.
Wally. Yeah,
yeah, we'll get it for sure. I do love it. I do love it with the Cole brothers. They are good. Carlton and Joe, they are good. That's one good part of it for sure. Right, two things I want predictions. I've got some saved, so we'll go through them in a second. But I want everybody to rate Mike's Christmas jumper out of 10. If you were here and you saw Nigel's West Ham Christmas jumper last night, Mike tonight has gone for is that little stars on it, little stars and the snowmen and the Christmas trees and the Santa sack and
Santa Christmas tree. Yeah.
Very nice.
Very nice. I prefer Nigel, so I've got to be totally honest.
Do you? Yeah. Go back and watch last night's show if you haven't already. Nigel had a West Ham official store Christmas jumper on that his better half had bought him, and he modelled it very nice. Jumper is 11 out of 10. Woohoo!
Oh,
Wally.
Thanks, Wally.
Lawrence a little bit more modest, but still very solid. That's 9.5.
Lawrence, I'll take that, mate.
Very good, very good. Right, let's take some of your predictions for tonight's game. 2-2. Desmond says Mandy 2-1 Bonager, the goal scorers. Wally's going for a squeaky bum time. 0-0 draw. What does winning the group do? Round of 16 we go through and we divert. We bypass through the round of 32 stage. Mike, remind us of your prediction for last night. Are you sticking with it? Are you changing it?
Sticking with the 1-1, mate. Yeah, I know it's a pretty common one from me. A bit boring, sat on the fence and all that again. But I'm hoping that we go 1-0 up. I'm hoping that they don't score, but if they do, I think we've got to be strong enough to hold on to it.
Let's hope so. Get a goal and keep hold of the lead. I like the sentiment. I forgot what I said last night, to be honest. So,
you wanted 2-1, didn't you? Oh no, Nigel went 2-1 because I was going to go 2-1, and I was going to go 1-1, and then I had to go. I went 1-0. Yeah, 1-0. I seem to be saying that every week, to be honest with you. 1-0. It's not going to be pretty. You could play a West Ham official Jake Cox bingo if you like, because I've said the same things every week. 1-0. It's not going to be pretty. But I mean, make a sub on the 89th minute.
Exactly, Cornet on the 89th minute, and Moyes to come out afterwards and say, "Well, I'd have taken these points, and they were a good opponent, and all the rest of it." And we've played a lot of games, of course, as well. See, it's like we know what we're doing today. Let's take some of your final comments. Ronnie says, "If there was ever a night where the result was the only important thing, it's tonight, isn't it? If we get an ugly point, we might be a bit meh, but the job is, but it's job done, really. Yeah, fair enough. I mean, it is all we need, in these competitions when it comes down to this scenario. It is a results business, and the fantastic performances and all the rest of it can come at a later date. But let's just get the job done. Let's be clinical and let's not mess about. And let's show who's boss and win the group for the 3rd consecutive year in Europe. Just imagine that. Imagine when we were all sat in our homes with nothing to do in 2020, Mike. If I said to you, in the next 3 years, West Ham would top the group in every European competition that they enter. I mean, what an achievement that can be if we complete that tonight.
Yeah, I'd ask you what he was drinking and I'll have some of it, please. But joking aside, yeah, it has been a great achievement. And I'd just love to do it again next year. And, you know, the further we go in the competition, it gives us a chance, doesn't it?
Exactly. But a West Ham fan from Brazil, thank you very much indeed for joining us. Brazil, like it, lovely Brazil. Michael says 5-0 reverse score. Them players owe us, but it will be a squeaky bum 1-0. Says Michael. We will leave it there. Thank you very much indeed, everybody, for watching this match build-up show. If you've enjoyed it, drop a like on the video and subscribe to West Ham Official if you're new. We are 35 minutes away from kickoff. I will rejoin you back on the full-time whistle at 10 o'clock, hopefully with a smile on my face, discussing at least a draw that gets us through to the round of 16. So I will see you then. I believe Lawrence is going to be joining me for the match reaction. So I will see you all then. Mike, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you, mate.
I didn't even have to say it. He knows what he's doing. Come on, you irons. And I will see you right here on West Ham Official. Do the business tonight, boys. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
See you later, mate.